everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk Ghosts. And honest to God, this is the gift that keeps on giving. But okay, we're going to talk about the Conjuring House again, but this is going to be probably the last time. There's just been so much going on. We're inundated with it. And I don't know how much more I want to keep talking about the same stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over and over and over. I mean, the good thing is Brian, the former VP operations, who got fired because a ghost told Jacqueline that he was stealing from her, he is fighting back.
Yeah.
And he has launched a complaint. So, a legal complaint. So, I think that's really good.
And not only that, it would hit the news.
Yeah, it hit mainstream news.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. So, hopefully we'll see something there. But, you know, in one of the news articles, they said that she's claiming she's a medium now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she never was before, so I just find that crazy. Anyway, what we found, and it's something that we're going to link to below so that you can find the whole thing that we watched,
Right.
is the past owner, Norma Sutcliffe, actually calls out Andrea Perrin for a lot of the lies that she's told over the years.
Well, no, not...
That's the title of the thing.
Well, yeah, but it should be all the lies.
Yeah.
Not some of the lies, all the fucking lies.
Okay. So Norma lived there after the Perrins, and she lived there for quite some time.
19 years or something.
Something like that, a long time. And she said, the very first thing she said was she wanted people to know that the Conjuring House movie is complete fiction.
Yes.
Now, we all suspected that it was fiction. I mean, most of us said, okay, it's based on something. It's based on fact. But really, no. It is complete and utter fiction. One of the things, and oh my gosh, she's all over the map on some stuff. Like, there's just so much that she wants to say. And she's trying to keep it in an organized manner. So this is Norma's own voice, and she's talking. So it's like a big, long monologue story that she's giving. And while we're watching the video, she's got these flashes of emails and papers and all kinds of clips of stuff, historical stuff that she's found to counter some of these claims. So that in itself was interesting, but it's what she had to say. So first of all, one of the claims that she said Carolyn, that's the mom, had was there was 2 suicides by hanging in the barn. She said no. That's absolutely false. There's no records of suicides. And the town has this thing called the Black Book, and it lists all the unusual deaths in town. And there's nothing. Not a thing. No evidence or historical records about Bathsheba Sherman and the claims about her. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Andrea is claiming that Bathsheba hung herself in the barn because of shame of being caught, being a witch. But in truth, and she pulled up some information from a historian, that Bathsheba Sherman died in 1885 as a 71-year-old woman from a stroke. Yeah. She did not hang herself. So all of that stuff is wrong.
No baby.
No. And she also, her funeral was officiated by a Baptist minister, which means she was a Baptist. She was not a witch. And all that stuff was just made up by not just the Perrins, but the Warrens.
Yeah. And that's the worst of it. Like, you kind of got the feeling that the Warrens weren't
on the up and up.
Yes, and they're basically grifters.
It's sad because I really wanted, Bless you, Pickles. I really wanted to believe that they were real. And, you feel like, they've done such good for the paranormal field. Yes, they did. They really raised the bar, elevated the field so that people are aware of it. But it seems like they created a lot of their cases. Everything they were involved with was demonic. Gee, that sounds so familiar. So it's really very sad because, as I'm hearing more and more stuff in the last little while about the Warrens, truly, I want to believe that they were real, but the facts are showing that they're not. So, and I'm really struggling with that. Yeah. And it's sad, but like the facts truly are, they're not real. Right. And that's the hard part. Yeah. Anyway, Carolyn had all kinds of claims about all these people dying on or around the property. And we've heard this from Andrea. We've heard this from countless YouTubers going on about, and basically they're listening to Andrea and repeating what she says over and over and over. Yeah. None of these people that have died, the 6 in the walls or 7 in the walls or whatever, and the people in the barn and the person in the attic and none of that is true. The one that's true is the guy who died from exposure on by the property gates, by the driveway, because he was drunk, passed out in a snowbank and froze to death. And
they found him 3 months later.
Yeah, after the snow melted. So that's something. The people that owned the house before the Sutcliffes, I guess not before the Sutcliffes, before the Perrins, were the Kenyon family. And they and their family owned that property for 200 years. And they were quite adamant it was not haunted. Yeah. So you'd think if they've owned it for 200 years, they might know. She also talked about, that line that Andrea said, that they were told if they didn't want to have any problems to leave the lights on at night. Remember that one? Yeah. Yep. Well, Norma explains this too. And it's all she said almost everything can be explained quite logically. And this one is, in this 11-room house, there's one bathroom. And it's on the main floor at the far end of the house. Yeah. So she says, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you have to go to the bathroom, rather than stumbling through the house and banging into things, it's prudent to leave a light on. So she always left the kitchen light on and another light in the hallway so that she could navigate through the house without banging into things at night. Yeah. It wasn't that they needed the light on to keep the ghosts at bay. Because honest to God, really, ghosts don't care about the light or the dark. They're there no matter what. Yeah. So keep the lights on to keep the ghosts at bay. Really. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. That is why the lights were suggested to stay on at night. Yep, I know.
Stupid is.
And there was a few things that she really clapped back at about Andrea. And one of the things that Andrea said was that Warner Brothers gave the Sutcliffes full security after this movie. No security. And then she said Warner Brothers paid the local police to take care of the Sutcliffes. No, they didn't. She also said, let me just read my notes here because I can't, I was scribbling so fast I can't remember what I wrote. She and her father, so that's Andrea and her father, came with a reporter. Okay. So she came with a reporter, and Norma didn't even know they were coming. They just kind of showed up. And she said that while her father was in the basement doing, I don't know what he was doing, and I don't think Norma knew what he was doing, but he went down to the basement. So she said she was viciously attacked by the spirit of Bathsheba, and in full view of Norma, who saw the whole thing. And Norma said, no, nothing happened. Nothing happened. She invoked Norma's name so many times for so many things that Norma says did not happen. Yeah. This is one of them. And this happened just before the movie came out, or shortly before the movie came out. What was interesting is later, Norma ran into this reporter, and she said, I never wrote a story about that visit because I felt a fraud was being perpetrated. So the reporter thought something was funky.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. She never named the reporter, probably because, things happened to her too and she didn't want to be named, but she was suddenly named. But she said that there was so much that happened she didn't give consent for. She didn't know this movie was coming out and it was about her house until after it came out. Yeah. Like, nobody told her. Yeah. How wrong is that?
And how, the studio should be liable for that.
Yeah, and they never filmed in the house or on the grounds. It was a set. So they're just making up what the house looked like based on what Andrea said. Yeah. She was their technical advisor, I guess. Yeah. I was going to say technical liar for sure. So after this all happened, she had people crawling all over her estate, really. So she started thinking, and a few years after, she started thinking maybe it'd be wise just to kind of embrace it a little bit. And a friend of hers said that she should contact the show, the Ghost Hunters, let them know that her house was once visited by the Warrens and see what they had to say. So she wrote them an email saying her house had been visited by the Warrens in the 70s, and she thought, if they happened to come out, I think it would be entertaining. And then she said that she heard back from them within 2 days. Yeah. They wanted to come out and film. And she said, I have to give them credit. They never gave the name of the town. They never named the parents. They never gave her name, kept it all basically generic and anonymous. And she said that was really, really good. Right. And then she said, and you have to remember these TV shows are made for television. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. She talked at length about the evidence. They came back like 2 months later to film the reveal. I didn't realize it took that long for them to do all that. But I guess, yeah, so they come back 2 months later. It's not like the next day like it seems in the show. So 2 months later, they go back for the reveal, and she said she had cameras in her face, so she had to really be careful how she reacted. And they're showing or giving reactions to things that have never happened to her, to things that they had obviously heard from their own research, probably checking in with Andrea, about, it's like somebody sitting on a bed or a door opening, things that had never happened. And she just decided to kind of go with it because, what do you do when you got cameras in your face? Yeah. So that was an interesting thing. So I want to go back and find that episode and watch it. I think that would be cool. I mean, most of them, I think. Oh, it's on Sci-Fi. It was from Sci-Fi at that time. We might not be able to find it on. It wouldn't be on Discovery, I don't think. Because I don't think those really early episodes would be there. Yeah. I don't know if they will be. I'd like to try to find it. Anyway, she said the only other time beyond the Ghost Hunters episode when somebody came to actually film in the house was Andrea herself. She came to ask to have a taped conversation or an interview or something. She didn't say it was going to be put on the internet or anything. And I think in some ways, Norma must have been a little bit naive about this. Yeah. Because why would you be there with a camera, film, like her dad came, her father came to film it. So he's involved too. Yeah. Really. Like, come on. Yeah. So she said she thought it was just for her own personal use. Why would you do that? No. Wow. So I think Norma was a bit naive at the time.
And she's considerably older.
She's older, yeah. But I mean, there's nothing, I'm not disputing, I'm not saying she's stupid. No. I'm just saying at that time, because this is now quite some time ago, she was a bit naive. So she had this interview, this conversation, and they talked about the house and hauntings, and she said that Andrea was trying to steer her to saying certain things, and didn't tell her it was going to go onto the internet. So on the internet really meant onto YouTube. Yeah. So in the few months that it was up, it gathered, she said something like 60,000 views or 40,000 views or a lot of views. Yeah. And when she found out about this, because she couldn't understand why so many people now were coming by her house, because her name was out there. Yeah. And they were able to track down, they figured out, this is the Conjuring House. So people were coming by, trespassing, sneaking up in the middle of the night with shining flashlights through her windows. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. She said she had signs all around the property with chains that said private property, no trespassing, and people did it anyway. Yeah. She said she'd be in her house and you'd see a car pulling up the drive. And there's one time she said that car pulled up the drive, people got out, they walked all around her property taking pictures and everything, didn't once knock and ask for permission. Just did it. Yeah. And it happened over and over and over, and people being mean and trying to scare them, and I don't understand what mentality was going on there. Why do that? Yeah. I don't get that. I don't get it either. I quite think that was contributed to the reason that she sold, because she said they couldn't even have horses or dogs or cats anymore because they were so afraid that somebody would hurt one of the animals. Yeah. That's pretty sad.
And, you break down the fence.
Yeah.
They cut the metal fence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the chains and stuff just to get in.
Just to get in. And, if you had a horse, they'd get hurt.
She said, and this is one of the things, her quote was, "I couldn't stop the invasion." That's how she considered it, an invasion. Like, wow. But she said people, because now they knew her name, they were researching her. They had her voter registration card. They knew, her all her information, her personal information. Yeah, what were they doing with it? Why?
This is the thing about the States.
Oh, they're crazy down there. Sorry, folks, but you're a little bit nutso.
And, you can really
get information on anything.
Yeah.
But she said at first she thought it was just local people coming around. And it later turned out that she said she saw license plates from all over the country, Florida. And I don't know if she saw any in California or wherever. Yeah. But, all over the place, all down the eastern seaboard into Florida and beyond. So it's like, holy cow. Holy cow. And this is just because of a movie. Yeah. And she said, it all very much parallels. Then she started talking a little bit about the Amityville horror. And she was tying that in with the Warrens and how the same thing, they came in, suddenly something was demonic and there was a possession and the hordes of people come and, So this is where, you start to think, the Warrens. Oh, the Warrens. Yeah. And then she talked about the Snedeker family, which is a haunting in Connecticut. Again, the same thing. There's a demonic possession going on. Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. And I liked... Flies. Yeah, she talked about... Andrea talked about bot flies. Yeah. And I don't know if bot flies are a thing in Maine, are they?
No,
aren't they more like a South American thing?
Yeah.
Because that's the ones where they get under the skin and you pull out these great big worms, isn't that?
Yeah.
So, she says they're not... The flies that Andrea must have been talking about are more like cluster flies or so. I don't quite know what that is either, but it still sounds nasty. What?
Outside.
Oh, those bugs. Oh, bugs today. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I think this video was really interesting for the history, the real history. Yeah. She obviously did her research. Oh, and she said she told Andrea to take that video down off of YouTube, which she did for 4.5 months. And then she put it back up.
Yeah, after the release of the movie.
She also said that she believes that Andrea found out that Norma was doing research on the history of the house and all that stuff. And to counter what Norma was finding, she put out her own stuff. Because she didn't want people to think she was lying, which she is. We know she is. Oh my God. I personally think Andrea has told herself these stories so many times that she now believes them. Yeah. That's what I think. Yeah. You know?
She's got a sickness.
Well, yeah, it's called I want to make money and I'm going to do it off of somebody else. Poor Bathsheba's memory. You know, this poor woman who can't even have a headstone because people keep desecrating it. So, yeah. So it was a really interesting program. If anybody really wants the real history behind the Conjuring House, the movie, and the real house, I would strongly have a listen to this. You don't even have to sit there and watch it. You can just listen to it as you're doing stuff. Like a lot of the emails and things that you see on the screen, they're really cool. They're interesting. If you have it on your TV, you don't really see them up close. It's hard to read them. Yeah. You'd have to watch it on your laptop or something where you can read it closer. Yeah. But very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And I will link to it below.
Sorry to everybody who just smashed their bubble thinking the Conjuring House is real. Oh. You can invoke.
Yes, I was going to say that.
You can invoke the hauntings.
You can make it happen, bringing in all this energy over and over and over. Yeah. You can make a poltergeist. Yeah. We've heard this before, and I believe that it's true.
And the rake is another one that, the rake is a new thing, and it was totally made up.
Yeah. So yeah, there could well be something in that house now that has been manifested over the years of people coming and
Ouija boards.
The Ouija boards and all that stuff. So it's possible that it is haunted now, but it isn't Bathsheba. Yeah. It is not Bathsheba. No. It is not John Arnold.
Yeah.
He is dead and buried. And he doesn't care if somebody's stealing from somebody. He's not watching. Yeah. Jesus Christ. So hopefully, folks, this is the last time we're going to talk about the Conjuring House. Unless something wild happens, which is a possibility. Maybe we'll see some court resolution. In which case, we'll come back with an update. Yeah. But until such time, this is it. That's it for the Conjuring House. Please read the real history, follow the real history, and not just what you're constantly hearing over and over and over by some delusional chick who thinks she lived in a haunted house because her mom said so. Yeah. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah. And the wingnut who owns now.
Oh, the wingnut.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, thinks she's trying to save her business, but in fact she's burying it. Yeah. Yeah, she's burying it. And she's not making it interesting for people to want to come. Yeah. And she's pricing it out of the realm of availability for most people.
Because she's never there. And she can't hold staff.
Well, no, because she's a wingnut, as you said. Nobody wants to work for someone like that. Yeah. I think that people that go to work there truly... Because, holy cow, I get to go to work at the Conjuring House. And then reality sets in and they don't stay. Because she's crazy.
Yeah.
She's crazy. So, anyway, folks, that's it. Another episode of Let's Talk Ghosts, where this time we're talking fake ghosts.
Yeah.
But the Conjuring House real story is interesting. Please have a listen to the real video with all the stuff. Let us know what you think.
Yes. Comments.
So have a good night or good day, good afternoon, wherever you are in this big wide world.
Happy hunting.
Happy haunting. Bye now.